Alright, welcome back to Chapter 7, the final chapter of Amerzone. It's interesting to note that there's been an element of sort of foreshadowing throughout the game when every chapter marker had showed our boat in what was going to be a relevant configuration, but not surprisingly, but interestingly, this is not our boat, but we don't know what it is yet, so we better dive in and find out. So you can't backtrack in this game. It doesn't let you do it even here, so you don't have to worry about getting turned around, at least, once you've crossed from one chapter to another. So, passing over the lake or swamp or whatever, back on dry land. That over there might have been some of the black version of the Amerzonian national bird. Kind of interesting. And, aha, hello. This looks like the famous pyramid at Chichen Itza, but this setting is a bit more like Machu Picchu of the Inca. I'm afraid they're playing that old trope of treating Aztec, Inca, and Maya civilizations as being kind of homogenous, which isn't particularly true, but never mind. Alright, up we go. Got a door, and whoa, hang on a minute. There's someone else here ahead of us, and this looks suspiciously like Alvarez, the dictator of Amerzone, whose cult of personality we've bumped up against a couple of times during this expedition. Well, approach with caution.
Power. No power. Do you really know what power is? No, of course not. Few people do. Women who are so worn out and tired they no longer even care to fake. Yet they tremble with fear in your arms. Because power is always fear. The fear of the one that possesses it, who risks losing it, and who then fears the one who is the victim of it, like a dog being beaten, and then growing old. You have come instead of Valenbois, haven't you? The poor fool. The White Birds and all that. The enemy of power, my friend, is not liberty, not democracy, and all that miserable nonsense. The enemy of power is the dream. The dream! But you'll never understand that. I mean a real dream, not those common, mind-dulling fairy tales that anesthetize people while you keep them under your heel. I have always been wary of those white birds. All that mythology. I wanted Amerzone to be a great modern nation, a country that believes in progress, that believes in science and technology. But these confounded Amazonians revel in that sappy, romantic legend. That legend of white birds. I wanted to make the people, I wanted them to be happy, despite their wishes. I won't let you go any further. No.
Okay, so I am totally not imagining this. Every time somebody talks to us in Amerzone, they immediately die at the end of speaking their piece. Although in this case, I can't bring myself to feel terribly busted up about it. Seeing this guy up close, you can definitely see that, seeing him up close, you can definitely get the sense that they were really going for trying to make him look like Augusto Pinochet. At least that's what I keep seeing. And I have to say, it was sort of shocking a little bit, some of the fairly graphic comments you made about having power, especially vis-a-vis power over women. It's very disturbing. And all that talk about wanting to make them happy despite their wishes is like very kind of on point for the colonialist, good intentions, hideous execution theme that seems to run through the Amerzone game. Kind of keeps putting me in my... I started playing the game Tropico 5 recently, and this guy seems like he could have walked right out of it at times. So anyway, we can look at what's left of him. All those flies buzzing around him. You're going to wonder how long he's been sitting here. Good Lord. You'd think he'd come up here after he heard that Valenbois or someone acting for Valenbois, i.e. us, was in town. To try and head us off, but jeepers. Anyway, so we can take his medals, weirdly. Hard to imagine he earned most of them. Anyway, can't take the gun, of course, which is, I don't know what we'd do with it anyway, but there's something very characteristic of that for Benoit's Sokal game, just like with a Myst game, is, bad guys are the ones that deal in firearms. So we can't go back to them. I think we got all that we can. And then the only other thing to look at in this room is this, which looks like a safe door, but the funny thing is you turn it, and that is... Well, something happened with a sound effect that sounds just like something on a ribbon. There's the emblem of the wide-winged white bird on the top there. I didn't notice that before. So, we did something, it just wasn't in here, classic adventure game style. Ah, there it is. So, we've opened, actually, I didn't notice that, I think that what's happening here is that, like, we moved the slats of the stairs out of the way, although I'm not sure how that translates to there being a door frame for us to go through. Anyway, here we are. You know, even when they lived near them, I can't think of many times when the Inca or the Maya would have built a temple directly on top of a volcano, but judging from this thing, that may be well what they did. So, now I was commenting earlier, that wasn't our boat at the chapter transition. It was this thing, which looks like a hang glider or something, or a lie on top of a glider, I guess, which also was in the Valenbois journal. Now, this is a little bit like the launch system that we used to get our aircraft/boat going at the beginning of the game. So if we try it, but if we try to launch straight off, well, that was anticlimactic. So oddly enough, the glider has gone back up to its starting position, but we haven't. We fell off. I don't know. But you can get off either side. So clearly we're missing something, and there's something here. It's kind of a series of pins, and there's something we can use here, but not something we have at present. My first thought was one of his medals, but it was close as it turned out, but not quite. So clearly we need something else. I'll leave that for now. Head back. Well, we need a key. We don't have the key, but mayhap we can make the key. So, we'll go here. Alright. So, something's come out. This little of here. And what can we do with it? We can put his medals in there, ribbons and all, apparently. That is an efficient casting system. But the end result is that it has made a oddly Western-looking key, but whatever. So we'll take that. Of course, Valenbois might have set some of this up, like some of the machinery might have been set up by him, but I don't know how much of it. But it actually was interesting to note, it dawned on me that there's that other old cliche in games like Tomb Raider or in the Indiana Jones franchise of like the ancient ruin mechanism that somehow still works. But this one kind of subverts it a little bit because the ancient mechanism has still been in active use up until relatively modern times by the native Amerzonians and maybe any kind of resistance movement against Valenbois. Against Alvarez, pardon me, that Valenbois was trying to, undo his part in helping set that up. So, kind of a nice bucking of that trope, at least. So now the key can go into this odd-looking thing, and then if you turn the key once, nothing much happens. Turn it again, again. I'm going to be perfectly honest, I do not know what this is doing. But once you get it all the way over, oh, something happened. And now, I don't know exactly what we did, but the main thing I notice is that you can suddenly hear there's wind blowing through. I think it might have had something to do with rearranging the slats on the outside of the pyramid here, with the result that that might be the boost we need. So if we hop on this thing again, yep, that got the job done. Oh, and there's a flock of the black Amerzonian bird. Whoa, whoa, steady. Oh, well, on the bright side, we didn't get knocked unconscious this time. But we're now in what looks like the base of a volcanic crater, and we trashed the glider. Wonderful. Supposedly this is like a pilgrimage rite of passage that every young native Amerzonian is supposed to do. Presumably they're better at hang gliding than I am. So, if we go around here, and there's this promontory that's clearly meant to receive something. So you can try putting the egg down, but it won't let you. So not because, and it's because there we go. We're still missing something. Just had to put that back in my inventory so it isn't there all the time. So let's go explore around the perimeter of the crater. Wondering if you have to bring this thing to volcanic heat to hatch to make up for the swamp water and the storage in people's cellars that it's been putting up with all this time. So I'm looking for something in particular. There's one aspect of this area that's kind of a pain, which is that it has a key hunting exercise to subject you to. And I'm not very good at spotting it in a timely manner. But let's see. Ah, there we go. So it's a sort of a bird-shaped pin or spike is the best way I can think of to describe it. Alright, now if I were to head back around to the promontory, I want to show you, if you're using the Steam version of the game, which in this day and age you probably are, I want to show you what not to do, because there is a bug in this game that I thought for the life of me meant that there was something that my download of the game was like corrupted or something. So I'm going to show you how to fix that, and in the process I'll also show you how the save works. So if you hit escape, and you go to save, and then it gives you this sort of lighthouse chamber with walls with your saves on it. So these are the previous chapter beginnings I've been using. So if I hit, let's say, this one, it will replace the save. Alright, so let me just show you what the bug looks like. If I go up to the promontory again and try to deposit the egg, or it still doesn't work. If I try to do the pin, then the egg appears there, and then I can click on it with the pin for as long as I like, and absolutely nothing happens. So this is a glitch, a bug in the program. It is not supposed to do that, because there's a step that I missed, I didn't realize for a long time, because again, this environment is kind of hard to parse visually. So really quick, we'll go back, we'll hit load, and then there we go. Okay, so we've gone back before the bug. So let me show you how to do it properly, but just show you that so you know how to avoid it. What am I looking for here? So you might have spotted it as I was making my way around earlier looking for the pin. I'm trying to remember where it was. But hidden in one of the little side channels in this crater, somewhere, is one other location, which I'm having a devil of a time actually remembering where it is. There we go. Yeah, see, this is the problem. I must have walked by this thing 10 times without noticing. So, oh boy, it'd be toasty in here. Guess that egg really needs warming up. And apparently what has to happen is the egg has to be sort of checked out before it's ready to go. So if we do this, I think we may have activated the Genesis device there. But yeah, so apparently that means that it's ready to go. Now, oddly, I almost don't know why, because there's no condition under which it wouldn't be ready to go, because you can't get this far without having the egg activated the way that it was back by the lady in the village. So anyway, after that, we can pick it up again. And now, if we head back out here for a minute, we go back to that promontory where we deposited it before and the bug kicked in. But this time, if I take the egg and I put it there, it actually gets put there. And then I can only assume at this point that what I'm doing with this pin is like cracking it open, like assisting with the birth, or as it were. But let's go for it and see if we can complete Valenbois' quest to restore the White Birds to the Amerzone. And apparently we can. Now, this is not usually how bird eggs hatch, if I may point out. I love how this is meant to sound, apparently we're supposed to think this is horribly dramatic and breathtaking, but it looks very creepy, to me at least.
The story goes that the white birds never stop flying. They are born, they mate, and they die in the hot rising fumes of the volcanoes. Their giant wings continue growing throughout their lives, and some people even claim that long after their death, their lifeless bodies glide on tirelessly. These are but stories, people say. Stories that feed the dreams of the children who live in the Amerzone.
And commence the most French possible closing credits music. I love the fact that these white birds, you hear the sound of a red-tailed hawk like every faraway bird in a game or movie. It's also kind of a fun Easter egg, at least for me, that Alvarez and that narrator at the end are both voice actors in Siberia as well. It's kind of funny. Which, considering that was Mike Roy's next game after this. So as seems to be typical for Mike Roy's games, us as the main character just are sort of left at that point, so I don't know if we're a journalist, maybe we go back and write this up. I heard somebody on a blog describe this as sacrificing your life. I didn't get the impression we didn't survive doing this. But definitely a bit of a weird turn there, but a fascinating gameplay, visuals, and sort of themes in place, as I've been saying the whole time. So check it out if you like, and I definitely recommend you check out the Siberia series, and or if you want to get a sense of it, CJU Games coverage of it, because it's excellent. And for now, thanks very much, and enjoy your gaming. Have a good one.